Have you ever felt like you're watching yourself become a stranger to your own life? Like the person you used to be is slowly fading away, and something deeper, more authentic, is quietly taking their place. You're not losing your mind, you're finding your soul. This sacred moment you're experiencing right now isn't chance, it's divine orchestration. The Creator has personally arranged for you to receive these transformative insights that your spirit has been craving. You are specifically chosen to understand these profound truths that God desires to illuminate within your heart. Listen with the deepest attention, for these words carry meanings that will unfold differently each time you return to them. Watch until the very end, as the Lord has woven specific revelations throughout this entire message just for you. What you're experiencing is what Carl Jung spent his lifetime documenting: the inevitable spiritual shedding that happens when we can no longer pretend to be who we're not. The masks feel suffocating. The games everyone plays become transparently obvious. The life built on other people's expectations feels like a prison. And with this awakening comes something profound. A slow, involuntary releasing of everything that isn't genuinely you. The problem runs deeper than you might realize. For decades, you've been unconsciously addicted to patterns that once felt like survival, but now feel like suffocation. You've been seeking approval from others like it's oxygen, performing happiness when your soul is crying out for authenticity, and gripping certainty when your spirit knows that mystery is where real truth lives. These patterns aren't just habits. They're identity prisons that have kept you small and safe, but never truly alive. Jung discovered that genuine spiritual people don't consciously decide to quit these patterns. Instead, they develop what he called allergic reactions to inauthenticity that grow stronger as their spirit becomes clearer. The approval you once craved starts making you physically sick. That desperate hunger for validation begins to feel like poison in your system. You'll find yourself in meetings about to say what everyone wants to hear, and suddenly you can't. The words get stuck. Your body rebels. You might even break into a sweat. It's your authentic self refusing to participate in the performance anymore. One of Jung's patients described it perfectly. I used to rearrange my entire personality depending on who I was with. Now, when I try, it's like my soul hits an emergency brake. I physically cannot contort myself for approval anymore. As this hunger dies, something beautiful is born. An unshakable sense of inner worth that doesn't need external validation, because it references only itself. You stop needing others to validate your existence, because you finally feel your existence from within. The second pattern spiritual people release shocks many: the desperate need to be special. Early in awakening, people often experience what Jung called spiritual inflation. They feel chosen, superior, different from the unconscious masses. They subtly let others know about their meditation practice, their synchronicities, their profound insights. But then something shifts. The need to be special starts feeling heavy, exhausting, false, like wearing a costume that once felt like wings, but now feels like chains. As you quit needing to be special, you become truly unique. Not performatively unique, but authentically unique. When you stop trying to stand out, your genuine nature naturally distinguishes itself. You become like a flower that blooms whether anyone's watching or not. The blooming is for the blooming, not for the watching. Perhaps most surprisingly, highly spiritual people slowly quit the performance of happiness. Not happiness itself, but the exhausting performance of it. The constant need to appear positive, enlightened beyond suffering, radiating love and light at all times. Jung discovered that genuine spiritual development doesn't make people perpetually happy. It makes them perpetually real. Reality includes the full spectrum of human experience: joy and sorrow, peace and turmoil, light and shadow. The journey continues with releasing the desperate grip on certainty. As spiritual depth develops, those certainties that once felt like armor start to crack. Not because they're proven wrong, but because you realize the very need for certainty was keeping you from truth. Truth isn't something you can hold. It's something that flows. The moment you grip it, it becomes dogma. You learn to hold paradox, to act decisively without being certain, to commit fully while staying open to being completely wrong. Then comes the hardest release of all. Blame, not just blaming others, but the entire victim-perpetrator narrative the ego uses to make sense of suffering. This doesn't mean excusing harm or bypassing trauma. It means reclaiming power by seeing how you unconsciously participated in patterns, recognizing that even your wounds served your awakening. You stop giving others the power to define your story. Jung also observed spiritual people quitting spiritual bypassing, using spiritual concepts to avoid genuine human experience. They stop using meditation to avoid feeling, using everything happens for a reason to avoid grief, using we're all one to avoid boundaries. True spiritual maturity means being fully human and fully spiritual simultaneously, not using one to escape the other. Finally, genuine spiritual maturity leads people to quit the isolation of awakening. While spiritual growth often requires periods of solitude, the final evolution leads back to connection, but connection of a completely different quantity. Not the unconscious merging of the asleep, but the conscious meeting of the awake. You discover you can connect with anyone, not by lowering your consciousness, but by embracing your humanity. Each thing you release creates space for something more authentic to emerge. When you quit seeking approval, inner worth emerges. When you quit being special, true uniqueness emerges. When you quit performing happiness, genuine joy emerges. When you quit needing certainty, wisdom emerges. When you quit blame, When you quit bypassing, embodiment emerges. When you quit isolation, real connection emerges. This process takes years, even decades. You'll quit and return, release and grip again. This isn't failure, it's the spiral nature of growth. Each time you return to an old pattern, you're a little less attached. Every release is a revelation. Every letting go is a coming home. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself. Beautiful soul. You are here by divine appointment, not mere coincidence. The Almighty has chosen you as His sacred vessel to carry these life-transforming messages to other hearts that desperately need this healing light. Your calling extends beyond simply receiving. You are commissioned to be a shepherd of awakening, guiding fellow travelers who are walking this same path of spiritual evolution. Share this video with those you feel guided to bless, for you are God's instrument of hope in their lives. Let your words in the comments below become prayers and encouragements for our sacred community. Subscribe to Sacred Journey and ring the notification bell, for the Lord desires to send you His messages swiftly and consistently. You are His chosen messenger, and through you, His love reaches those still searching in the darkness.